Ding dong. Hello YouTube and welcome back to Mr. CSN M0, that is, full RE and 12 words a minute Morse, aka Mr. M Radio Deals as well, and his place on the interweb, which is here on YouTube, as you know, and TikTok as well for that matter. So hello TikTok as well as YouTube. Trust you well on this lovely Tuesday afternoon as it now is, and a little bit of a video regarding radio. I think that's the terminology we shall use for today. Before we get going, obviously, many thanks to all of you that have liked the last load of videos, and of course those of you that subscribe to my wacko world. It's always appreciated, and we really do appreciate every like, every comment, and every one of you that subscribes. So if you come across us now for the first time, hit the subscribe button. You never know, there might be something up and coming that you might find entertaining or watchable. There might not, but there might be. So, but if you don't subscribe, you'll never know. And if you do like it, do us a favour and like it, and as I say, subscribe it and share it along with your mates if you can. So there you go. That's that bit out of the way. Nobody subsidises us, nobody backhands us, we don't get paid, we do this for love, like we do with them radio deals. We do that for love as well. But, well, other things, but we'll not go into that. Excuse me. Anyway, here we are. So, as you'll remember on the last video, the Sun SDR Pro, which was the latest toy into the shack. We've always been hardware operator, we've always had big radios, and we've never really bothered with software defined at all, never floated us, but we had a little tickle into it early days with the SDR players and the RTL dongles, etc. But you know what, I could never really get them to do anything for me. They never worked how I thought they should do. I don't know, was it anything I was doing or whatever? Let's just have a little mooch there. We're just going to change that, maybe a bit better. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they never did anything for me. I could never really get them to work, so I don't know. Was it down to me or was it down to that? I don't know. But whatever it was, I didn't really think they brought anything to the table, so we sacked it. But I've got good friends. Mick UEX, who runs HRD with us, he was always a flex boy, and he said for yours, try it, you'll love it. I said no. Brian NSI, he said for yours, try it, you'll love it. I said no, and we avoided it up until just before Christmas with Pete 2E0HVD, Pierre as he's otherwise known. He had the Sun SDR, and he sounded phenomenal on it, he really did. Anyway, we had a chance to go down and see Pete over something else, and the sun was there. I thought, do you know what? It don't look half bad, that. It really doesn't. We had a lot of a look into it, to be honest, and yeah, it was surprising. I was quite impressed with what it did. So, fast forward a couple of weeks, and I downloaded the software and just had a little route around it, see if I could find anything that I liked, what I thought about it. But it wasn't much use without a radio. Although you could have a little look at it, you couldn't do much with it. So anyway, the chance arose to get my hands on the Sun SDR Pro, which is what I've got, which was the one you've seen. Wasn't a lot of money. I dealt it on a Yaesu 710, which stood me at about 750–800 quid. So let's say 800 quid it stands me at, which these days radio is peanuts. So anyway, here we are, we've got it. So as you saw previously, it's up and it's running, but I did say I would do a bit more of an in-depth video after playing with it for a while and figuring it out, getting to know about it. So because I didn't want to get on air without actually knowing how the software worked, etc., because it would have just been chaotic. It's not a case of plug a mic in it, turn the mic, gain RF, whatever, get on, use it. You can't do that. You need to have a bit of an understanding with it. So I spent a couple of weeks, 4 weeks or so, getting used to it, and anyway, we are where we are now. We've got a bit of a grip on it, so There we go, with a little video onto what I've found with the Sun SDR Pro, or SDR2 Pro as it is. This is a 5th generation one, which means it's probably one of the latest ones out there at the minute. I'm running the version 3 beta software on it. The version 2 software is out, and that's the one that most people are using, but the version 3 beta is now available, so I've been on that and getting used to that. There's a few bits missing off it compared with V2, but I'm sure they'll put that on when they open it for full release, so we'll see how we go with that one. But anyway, let's have a little look at the... No, won't want me. Oh, it's no good. Right, there we go. There's the Sun. There it is in its glory. Well, there's the software anyway. There's a screen. And as you can see, I have been tweaking and twiddling. And first thing, I altered the background. I changed that. You can pretty much customize it, put a picture on, whatever you want. You can't do that with the Flex apparently. The Flex is just set by Flex to Flex, unless apparently if you're using an Apple iMac you can do it, but not everybody does, so basically for the most part you can't. If you're using a PC it ain't happening. On the Sun you can, and of course you can alter all the spectrum scope, which I believe you can do in the Flex. I'm not sure, I haven't got one, but I believe you can. But either way, we're on the Sun, so you can alter all the scope, the infill, the outline, etc. Get it how you want it, colours, etc. Basically going into the menu and selecting the colour palette option, and in there you can customise the spectrum line colour, spectrum fill colour, which is that, and the waterfall colour scheme, which is underneath. You can also select the background, which is the big blue bit there with the map. Put any picture you want in yourself, the wife and kids, your favourite dog. You put what you like in it, doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be radio related. And it just personalises it that bit more. And then also over here on the peak of the spectrum you can change the colours. So I've currently got it as red on the, well, reddish pink on the tips, but if I didn't like that I can just change it to yellow. Click OK, and as you can see now the tips, well, screen's a little bit light, but the tips are now yellow on the peak scope, or blue. Any colour basically you want, you can switch to there. You got the blue showing up a bit better, and it just gives it that little bit of extra personalisation, which is good. Obviously there's all sorts of other things you can change. You've got TX options, you can alter your bandwidth, etc. On your SSB modulation, digital modulators, which I've not got into yet, I've got to be honest. And then of course you've got the RX side of things, so you can alter all your SSB, AM, FM, RX side of things. And obviously your spectrum scope there for equalising the outgoing audio, various boosts and compression, clippers, all sorts of stuff. It goes into great detail, and there's a lot of things you can do. You've got options to select different microphones there. You've got 2 sockets on the front, an RJ45 mic socket which takes the Yaesu MH31 microphone, which is in microphone 2, or microphone 1, which is what I'm using, which is a 6.3525 jack, which is running off the DBX unit out of the studio microphone. Very easy, very straightforward, and it does what it needs to do. So that's that. And out of the menu you can come. Obviously the scope is where it is, and you can alter it by sliding left or sliding right, up and down the band, whatever suits you. To actually tune into any station, you've got the crosshairs here. It's operated by the mouse. Just bring the mouse over and click on the relevant scope peak. Under there, you can just twitch the receive with the mouse wheel. You're not quite fully tuned in. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's It's not too difficult. There he is. So quite easy. And I've noticed, depending on where you're at on the band, obviously, if you're on 40 metres, you click on the right of the peak, and if you're on 10, you click on the left, which is a little gimmo that you've got to figure out. But it's not rocket science. You get your way around that. Up at the top, you've got your RX2. You've also got second VFO, so you've got 2 slices, but with the second VFO, technically you've got 4. You've got record options and playback for your own audio. TX buttons, tuning options. This doesn't have an ATU in it, but for when you're setting up the amplifier, you want to put a carrier out to tune the amp, then that's a good thing for it to do. Vox buttons, CW options there. Split frequency for the X is very easy as well. If you just click the split button and it gives you the split frequencies done dusted. If you want to get out of it, you just click the TX icon and it takes it off split. Very easy, and the frequency is just set by moving your mouse, so always good there. It's a good way of doing it. Along the top, you've got your band scope there, so if you bring that into force, you get a band scope right across. I've got it running at the moment 5 megs up to 70 megs, so but you can see quite a lot of the band. You've got a PA button, which is to bring the amplifier into play, so you can text with the amplifier. Transverter options, and obviously attenuators, volume control, and a monitor section for your headphones. Further along, frequency and mode, band, etc., and your filters, noise blanker, noise reductions, noise cancellers, notch filters, all there, ready on tap, and a recorder for recording something that you're listening to. Further along, there's your band selections, and it also covers 4 and 2 meters, this, so that's handy if you want a one-stop toy for HF6, 4 and 2. No, I don't think they're really great on 2 meters, but they work on 2 meters, so we'll say that. I think with a little bit of modification on the settings, it probably sound better, but entirely up to you if you use 2 meters or not. I have a little tickle with it, but I've not really set it up fully. Underneath, that's the automatic gain control, which you can have on manual, or again, another little quirk, if you click it, right click with the mouse, it brings up the option for auto gain control, and you can set the signal to noise ratio. If you just sort of move it on manual, it'll move left and right, and you can change it accordingly. Drive for obviously power out, and tune, I'm not sure what that does. I gather it's something to do with tuning the amplifier, but I've not really got into it. Microphone slider for your mic gain, to give you more power on your mic gain, and then obviously your sub VFO frequency, and of course your filter bandwidths, 3K, 3.5, 4K, 5K, and a user defined one, which you can set to suit yourself. So that's basically the premise of the functionality of it. The rest of it is all in the menus. You go into different sections, the different menus, and bosh, off you go. Alter it to your own personal needs. Now, obviously, I run this with log 4OM, which is that. I'm going to minimise it a bit because we don't need it. And I also have the log 4OM cluster. Telnet clusters connected. So the beauty of having this running with the Telnet cluster is this. Minimise the cluster a bit, and you'll see there's a call sign MM0DXT/portable. So what happens is the cluster sends spot information to the screen where the scope is. Now if you click on the call sign that the cluster has sent to the screen, it will in turn, as you can see, we're on 7153, and it's also showing on the software there, on the login software, 7153. If we click the call sign, the frequency will change because it's took the radio to the frequency that your man's on, and he's there. But it also takes you to the frequency. It fills in the logbook with his call sign, his name, what band you're on, where he is. It picks the details up because this is linked up to QRZ. You need to be a subscriber to QRZ for it to do it, but it also links to QRZ, so it picks the data up off there. Now, you log this call sign, this contact with this software there. It will also automatically log it to QRZ as well. So happy days, winner winner. It does the pair of them. So you know you can't go wrong with that. But it needs to be all set up with a logbook. Yeah. So with QRZ all connected up, you just download your API key from QRZ and put the API key in the Log4OM software, and that in turn will link it up to QRZ. So that's a really good way of doing things. It's great. Works very well as well. Now obviously in other radios you would have logging software linked up, but it would be via COM ports and stuff like that. Well, not so much with this, because this uses what the manufacturer's Sun call TCI. It's a TCI client, TCI port software, and basically it takes away all the necessary drama. You set TCI on the Sun and you set TCI in the settings on the Log4OM software, and it just links seamlessly. And it's the same if you use FTA. I don't use FTA or digital modes, but if you did, you would set in FTA TCI rather than a radio, and it will automatically grab the FTA and it will put the settings in for you, so you don't have to do it. And there's no setting audio up or anything. It just does it, and it does it very well. So that's a great way of doing things. So that's something to consider. This is I think the functionality compared with your hardware radio, shall we say, against these things. The linking up is just far superior. It really is. So that's something to think about. You know, if this is what you're into with online logs and databases, FT8, digital modes, etc., then this thing it does it very easily. So always worth consideration. But more and more, it's functionality. It just seems to do what you need it to do. And you know, I can't knock it. Let's just bring that back there. I can't knock it at all. I'm absolutely gobsmacked with how functional it is and how well it links up, and it does. So you know, I've not struggled with it. I've had a couple of nights where I've had a good long hard look at it and found my way with it again. And sometimes they've not made sense, but after a little bit more looking at it, and the thing was, YouTube's been a great source of information, although a couple of times I'd had to watch 2 or 3 videos to find out what I wanted to know. But there's a couple of guys on there that have put some nice handy tips up there to pull the bits that you want, and between 2 or 3 videos you can actually get where you need to be. So it's not that difficult. You've just got to put a little bit of time in, but it's worth it when you've done it. So I mean, for the rest of it, like I said, I can't fault it at all. I really can't. I think it's great. 10 metres has walked up a bit, so you can see the scope showing up on 10, a little bit of DX popping about. The receive on it is really nice. It really is. A little bit of Bulgarian. But yeah, just if you look now on the screen, you can see all the DX spots: KE3, ZS1s, 9 Zulu forwards, Charlie Bravo 0, Zulu Alphas, you know, they're all there. So it takes away when you sort of sat on the radio, because we all do it. We sit on the radio, and obviously with these advent of the 7610s, the 7300s, and the 990s, etc., they've all got decent enough scopes, but they're just scopes, so you're just looking at the scope peaks. You don't actually see who's on the band. With this, you do. So it just opens radio up so much more, because now I can go on the band and I don't even have to be looking at the cluster as such. I just run the logging software with the cluster turned on, and all the cluster information is on the screen. And I obviously set the filters on the cluster, so if you just want it to send you 10 metre spots or 15, 20 metre spots, etc., then that's what it will do. And you know, winner. You're swimming, aren't you? You can't go wrong with it. So massive bonus. it looks easy on the eye. It does look really nice. It's a really nice interface to use. As I say, it took a little bit of fiddling and a little bit of faffing to get there, but it was worth it. But I didn't jump in both feet first, which is what we normally do. We get the manual, we sling it, we plug the radio in, and we sound like a bag of spanners for a couple of weeks till we figure it out. I couldn't do this with that because it needed a little bit of forethought before you started running it and getting into the swing of things. So it wasn't a big deal, but it was rewarding. And to be fair, the learning curve's been pretty good. I've learnt a fair bit about things that ordinarily I wouldn't have bothered with. Online logging programs, I just use QRZ. I never used logging programs. I wasn't really interested in them. I've started to use that Log4OM now, which I wouldn't have done ordinarily. I'd never needed to. So, but obviously with the spots on the cluster and all the little bells and whistles that it brings, it's just a nice package, and it's just a good way of working. Certainly beats the old way of doing it on the radio, hands down. Really. Now, I never thought I would be into any kind of software defined radio. I like the hardware stuff too much, always have done. But hey, we all change. We all sort of go down a different route and we find ways of doing it better. For me, I think it's better. A lot of people will know more than I will, and some will disagree, some will. I think a lot of people are like I was. Totally swerved it, sidewiped it. It was nonsense because I didn't understand it. I'd never used it, so I had no interest in it at all. And so many people say, no, I want a real radio. But what's a real radio? It is. It's got an antenna in it. It's got a microphone in it. It's got an amplifier connected up to it. It works. I mean, that's another thing. The amplifier, we got the cable from Billy over in Scotland. It plugs in the back of the Sun, it's plugged in the back of the Expert. Jobs are good. And the Expert's the 20 watt version, it's not the DX, which is the 100 watt version. So, but 20 watts with the Expert amplifier, perfectly fine, more than a legal limit needed, no bother. If you've got a valve amp, you probably find you want the DX version, which is the 100 watt, to just give you that bit more of a drive to get your amplifier up there. But again, amplifier cable linked up, it's seamless. It band tracks, it switches the amp on, it switches it off, everything's done automatically. So the way that I use radio now has completely changed. It's just not the same as it was before Christmas, and I can't see it changing back neither. Already, well, Brian said for years if you got into it you'd never go back, and Pete said the same, and it's like, yeah, whatever, of course you won't. I like pies, I don't like salad, and I'll never change. Well, you know what, I eat more salad than I eat pies now, although it doesn't look like it, but I never said that about cake, did I? But this, no, definitely, it's definitely the way it's gone. I'm already looking, Brian NSI's got the Nan 7000, phenomenal. Absolutely, he's running Thetis on it, and it's just an outrageously good setup. And I've got my eye on one of them, or an 8000, if I can find one. They're a bit like Hen's Teeth Gold at that, but we'll live in hope. Sooner or later I'll come across one, I would have thought, but that's going to be my next step. It won't be hardware, so there you go. But you know, we are where we are. It's a nice way of doing it. So nice. It's a quiet receive. Beautiful. No problems with it at all. Beautiful way of doing it. What more do you want? What more do you want? Everything's at the click of a mouse button, and the jobs are good, so there you go. I don't know what else to say about it, to be honest. Well, the other thing is I've got studio monitors running off the PC. It's picking the audio up through the studio monitors. The headphones are plugged into the studio monitors. I use it with headphones most of the time. I've just got sound coming through it at the moment for this video, but normally I've got headphones, and it sounds even better through the headphones. It sounds great in general, but honestly, on video it just doesn't do it justice. In the shack it really does. So would I recommend you getting one? Well, it's a tough call. If you like your boxes, then you know, and maybe it's a bit of a check. If you're a bit of a computer boy and you're always on your computer, a bit of Facebook, WhatsApp, whatever, then possibly so you're going to take to it. You don't need a massively smart computer. I mean, I did upgrade mine at Christmas from the old Eep to an i7 8th gen or something. Perfectly good, does the job. This doesn't use a lot of power. So you don't need a massively expensive PC to run it. But if you do use a PC and you're fluent with it, and we're not talking about installing Windows and network sets and all that, you just, if you can get around a PC, you'll get around this. And will you look back? I don't think you will once you get it up and running. As I say, it's up with FTA. If you use it, it's great. It runs seamlessly. CW skimmers, all that caper, it's got all that lot on it. Again, the X cluster spots on the bands, all the little bells and whistles that you want, the linking up to the log programs, all seamless with the TCI option. It just makes it. So, but there you go. What can you say? Try it. Spend your money. They've just reduced the DX version, by the way, with the 100 watts. It was £2,300. They're now down to £2,000, so 300 quid off them. It's not a lot of money. And think about this. I think this one's, like I said, stands me at 800 quid, 1,400 quid new. Well, you can't buy an 890 Kenwood for 1,400 quid new. You can't buy one for second hand for 1,400 quid. No more than you can buy one for £2,000 second hand neither. And for me, personally, it wipes the floor with it. So, there you go. Take out of that what you will. And I'm no idiot. I've had plenty of radios, and I like the Kenwood 890. It's my favourite HF set. I've had a few. More than a few. I've more than most. In fact, I've definitely had more than most. I know for a fact I have. But nah, the Sun just wipes the deck with it. It's just a nice looking shack ornament now. That's where we are. Hey, oh, there you go. Bit of a long one. Going to come up to about 28-30 minutes. So if you've not already got bored, which I hope you haven't, but if you haven't, thanks for watching. Like I say, if you like the video, drop us a like on it. If you've got any comments to make the comments. We'll always reply. And of course, subscribe. Always subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. The more subscriptions we get, the better the channel goes. I talk a lot of bubbles, but you know what? It's nice to be loved. So there you go. So do. If you like it, and if you want to subscribe, by all means do. And share it along with your mates. So there you go. Cheers for watching, guys and girls. M6s, M7s, M3s, 2E0s, G4s, M0s, G3s, G2s, G6s. Oh my lord, the call sign list is long and distinguished. But everyone's a winner. Catch you later on the next one. CSN is now out of the shack and sorting this one out. Hope you get your sun and I hope you enjoy it. Cheers for now.